Welcome to Rivalry Week on ESPN 8, The Ocho. This week, 12 fantasy teams go head to head with their biggest rivals in a week of matchups that will change fantasy football history. Who will falter in the limelight and who will come out on top? Find out right here, coming up next. Now, here are your hosts, the two former number one seeds of Simp Station Internet Football, Travioli and Wyatt. Let's fucking go! It's Rivalry Week! You are watching Rivalry Week on ESPN 8 The Ocho, where you get the best content that no one gives one singular fuck about. My name is Ravioli Prime. Here with my constant co-host Wyatt. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm hyped for Rivalry Week. We're going to see a lot of banger matchups with some super exciting trash talk. Yeah.
But you know what? To honor this occasion, I have a Smirnoff Ice Smash Tall Boy. We're going to crack this open on camera for you guys. Cheers. All right. It's only 4:30, so should I be binge drinking? No, but here we are. All right. Fuck last week. Last week was stupid. I got a win, but I kind of hated it. Everything about that Monday night game made me want to kill myself. So we'll just go over the pick'ems last week. Binglewood actually led the way at 4-2. He did pick Biz over Spencer, which was incorrect, and he picked someone else wrong.
He picked
Steele.
Steele.
Okay, yeah, everyone picked Steele. So yeah, he was first. Us two both went 3-3. We both missed on Reeves. We missed on Steele. You missed picking Biz over Spencer. I missed picking Becca over me. And Reeves went 1-5.
Oh,
and the only one he got was Brett over Dalton. He missed every other matchup.
That's not a great one.
Yeah, not great. Standings wise, percentage wise, Steele's in the lead. You're at 20-16. I'm at 19-17. Banglewood's up to 6-6, and Reeves is at 4-8.
Oof.
All right, fuck that shit. Who cares? It's Rivalry Week. We got a fucking banger box. I sorted it on my thing like a boxing card. You know, like where you start with like some intro matches, like get him ready, get him sauced up, get that crowd going, and then we get the fucking bangers.
Let's get it.
So we're gonna start, but then I realized every matchup's a fucking banger.
True.
The furthest in seating apart is me versus Banglewood, and that's 3 spots apart.
That's wild.
So we're gonna start with Steele versus Biz. Steele's currently. I did the seeds, I didn't do tiebreakers and shit. Okay, fuck that. I just did what's listed there. Steele's the 9 seed. Biz is the 10 seed. Here are some stats for you. Steele is 7th in points scored. Biz is 9th. In median score, Steele is 7th. Biz is 10th. In points against, Biz has the 2nd highest points against in the league. Steele has the 4th highest. So they're both getting fucked.
Damn.
In their last matchup, Biz defeated Steele 122.92 to 101.98. Just a few weeks ago in week 8.
Steele out for revenge this week.
This is a saucy one. I mean, former lovers quarrel. Like we love a good romantic drama.
True.
It starts at the dining hall in Clemson right before COVID and brought us all the way here. It's simply poetic. What do you see being the keys of this historic matchup?
I mean, a big key on Steele's side is Travis Etienne going against Houston. Their run defense has been not great, but not terrible. So and he's had a bad couple of the last week. So if he can get in the end zone, that'll be a big boost to him. And then David Montgomery, him being back from injury, he's been doing a lot better. Hopefully Gibbs can repay him for that touchdown that he gave Gibbs and help Steele out.
Okay. Quick rant. Football is a game about like alphas. That was the most beta shit I've seen in my
True.
life, Montgomery. What the fuck was that?
Beta bitch.
Oh my god. Okay. Um. Yeah. So I think the most important thing to remember about this matchup is that Biz just lost Joe Burrow. Obviously, that's fucking massive. He wasn't like crazy this season, but he is still a good quarterback. And she's now starting Sam Howell against Dallas.
That is not ideal.
Big drop off. Yeah.
Hey, another X factor in this matchup is Taylor Swift going to be at the Chiefs game? Because that's the only time Travis Kelce actually has a big game.
It's in Vegas. That seems like a pretty cool place to go. That stadium's fucking sick.
True.
So I feel like Taylor should get her ass out there and help her.
Get over there, T-Swizz.
He's going to retire. You don't have that many games left. You got to support him. You're trying to get him another ring before he gives you a ring. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Shush. I think Biz has a lot of bad matchups. If
She
we're
do.
being real.
She really do. I mean, Pacheco against Vegas could be good, but their defense has been better since getting rid of Josh McDaniels' dumbass. James Cook against Philly, though, he's not been good the last 4 or 5 weeks in general, but going against a top running defense, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. I watched the majority of that New York Giants game, which was an absolute abomination. An absolute fucking atrocity. A war crime, even. Sam Howell just did not give a fuck about anything, and he was just eating the ball wherever it had to go. So between that and Pacheco, between that and James Cook, I think her matchups kind of scare me. She does have AJ Brown against a torn up Buffalo secondary.
True. And he'll be whining because he only got 1 target yesterday, or maybe 2 targets, but only 1 catch.
Yeah, they may try to force feed him. You never know.
Yeah.
And I heard there's like a. Did you hear any of these reports about like the behind the scenes beef?
Oh God, give it to me.
I heard Biz is asking for her dining hall credit back, which is pretty fucked. Like,
damn, it's been like 4 years, Vince. Let it go.
Still took you to some fine dining.
Fine dining at the Clumpson.
Yeah, I don't know what Clemson's dining hall is called. I didn't go there, but like I'm sure it has a name, and I'm sure it's a well-respected establishment. So you know what? Steele may use this as fuel. He's like, you know what? I'm not giving you your dining hall credit back. You know why? Because we're 25 years old and out of gum.
After some really good due diligence and research, it's called the Schletter Dining Hall.
The Schletter?
Schletter.
Oh, it sounds like some Admiral's word where you think it's like New Jersey slang because they don't know how to talk, but it's actually like what their dining hall is called. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I think let's get out of this one. I think it's time to pick. Who are you going with this week?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Steele. I think his team is really good. It's been underperforming the last couple of weeks, but I do see him breaking out of this 4-game loss streak and getting his revenge on Bizzer Wade.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going Steele. It's a revenge. You know, revenge is a dish best served when the opponent is missing Joe Burrow. And
best served at the Schletter Dining Hall.
Best served at Schletter. All right. Now we are going to move on to a little family rivalry, some may say.
Oh, shit. We have 2 of those.
Yeah, there is. This one is of 2 brothers, 2 very scrawny, pale boys. Is Wyatt, our 7th seed, versus Brett, the 8th seed. Actually, you're not scrawny anymore, but he still is. He's a fucking chicken ball. Yeah. All right. You are currently 5th in points. Brett is 6th In median score, Brett is actually second. He has one of the biggest jumps of anyone when you switch from mean to median. And you're
Damn.
fifth in points against. You have the most points against. It's you and
Never will.
Biz up there at the top. Unlucky. Brett is sixth. And the last matchup, you defeated Brett 131.26 to 112.68 in week 5.
Hi.
I heard that Becky is torn on this matchup, and she's thinking about just awarding the best son certificate to Joseph so she doesn't have to pick. Uh, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I can tell you, Joseph is most certainly not best son. So
Oh,
whoever
shit.
wins this match,
Holy fuck.
I mean, going into this matchup, I like my chances. I think overall, Tyreek got a little banged up last week and is against the Jets. He didn't have a great game against the Jets earlier in the season. Calvin Ridley, I mean, he had a really great week last week, but he just disappears after a good week this season. So Josh Jacobs against a really good defense. Brees Hall is who I'm scared of against Miami's defense, although they've been on the come up. So you never know there. I don't know. Evan Ingram has been a non-factor. He hasn't really gotten a lot of targets. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins are a little bit scary. I think if the Jags don't have Tyson Campbell back next week, it might be a little doomed. And I don't know if he is actually going to play CJ Stroud. He can also play Justin Fields. He can also play Jared Goff. They're all good options this week. So we'll see.
Yeah, you're. Yeah, I mean, for your team, it's your 2 stars, right? If one of them underperforms, you're kind of fucked. And they
Yeah,
both have pretty good matchups. Philly, I mean, they've been getting a lot of pass rush, but the secondary has just not been very good up there in Philadelphia. And the game's in Philly. The Bills have looked out of sync. Everyone's like super happy because they did well against the fucking Jets. I don't know. I think it could be a rough game for Josh Allen, but I think he'll be okay. And then Christian McCaffrey against the Seahawks is pretty good. I mean, running backs have done pretty well against them all year, even starting like week 1 with Kyron Williams when he tore them up. And we've had a lot of good performances against Seattle, so you could. This is one of those games you could see Christian McCaffrey having 2 or 3 touchdowns.
please.
And then yeah, Brett's matchups are not great.
Yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey is definitely going to be a huge swing. I think Zay Flowers the last 4 or 5 weeks has been pretty bad. Like he's not gotten a lot of targets. But in the beginning of the season, when Mark Andrews was out and then getting back from an injury, Zay Flowers was doing well. Now with Mark Andrews out and against a Chargers defense who I don't know if you can actually even call it a defense, he could get back to getting more work. And I think he's a good player. He had a 60-yard touchdown called back last week on penalty, so I think he could provide a big boost this week. But like I said, I feel pretty good about this week. Hopefully, I mean, another weird thing about my team, Marquise Brown, Hollywood, Kyler comes back, and they're like buds. Like they went to college together, and they like last year when Kyler was in, he would target the shit out of Marquise Brown. This week, since Kyler's been back, he has like 3 targets in 2 games. I'm like, what?
It was it was. I watched a good bit of that game, and he was definitely getting like focused by the defense a pretty good bit, and they were kind of forcing him to throw to other people.
Hmm.
That was a good strategy. So I'm curious to see if other defensive coordinators do the same thing. But the Rams don't really have the personnel necessarily to like full commit to that kind of strategy.
True.
Yeah, I think it's something worth watching for sure. I think I actually changed my pick. I initially picked Brett. I've changed it to picking Wyatt.
Let's go.
So yeah, I think Wyatt. I think middle children are generally the best. So it kind of makes sense that you
Actual fact.
sweep Brett in the series too, because because you know what? Brett's a little bitch.
Little stupid SO.
Yeah, little stupid asshole. Who are you picking?
Picking myself. Let's ride.
Broncos, Nick.
Broncos country. Let's ride. You hit that smash, boy.
Woo! Okay. Next up on the card is our other interfamily matchup. Last week, the Johns boys swept the Reen team in two pretty epic duels of shitty quarterback performance in my game, and then Reese's flex player getting ejected and Banglewood coming through in the clutch. And there this week, the Johns boys go up against each other. Banglewood is currently our number 2 seed versus me as the number 5 seed. Banglewood is second in scoring. I am 10th. Yikes. Banglewood is first in median score. I am 8th, so we both get a boost there. Points against, I have had the easiest schedule, and Banglewood has had the 4th easiest schedule. He's 9th in points against. In the last matchup in week 5, Banglewood beat me 122.32 to 104.32. What do you see in this matchup?
I see, I don't know, Tua against the Jets is a little scary, but especially if, obviously if Tyreek is out, which I don't think he will be, then it would be a different story, but I think Tua should be able to at least reach his projections. Mike Evans against Indy should be good. Baker has been just chucking it to Mike Evans all season, and that's been a big part of Banglewood's success, as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's been like the most consistent receiver in the league, it seems like. Just consistently gets like 12 to 15 points and then has blow-up games also. Like, he never just gets 2 catches for 20 yards like some receivers do. And then Gus Edwards, if he can keep getting in the end zone. This dude has scored like 9 touchdowns in the last 5 games or some crazy stat. And, you would think it continues this week because he's against the Chargers. So, I see some good matchups there.
Yeah, I agree. He's got good matchups. Actually, there's decent matchups on both sides of the ball. I think my receivers have pretty good matchups. Tampa Bay's been okay against receivers, where we just saw like Brandon Ayuk tear them up. Actually, they're 4th. They allowed the 4th most fantasy points to receivers. Never mind. They've been shit against receivers. DJ Moore against Minnesota and Adam Thielen against Tennessee. Those are all pretty mediocre to bad defenses. Although Minnesota's is crazy because how much they fucking blitz. Plus Jalen Hurts against Buffalo and the New England defense against the Giants are both pretty good matchups. I think the thing that's scary here is Eckler and Brian Robinson. And then even Javonte Williams has a terrible matchup this week against Cleveland. So, I have to find 2 running backs to play, and there's not great options out of all of them.
Yeah. Watching Eckler last week, it was so weird because, he would get into the open field and just look so slow. And I didn't understand. It was weird to see. It seemed like he's playing through injury, and that's what's slowing him down. But
he definitely is. But they're also just not giving him the carries, and it's really weird. He was super efficient last week. And, everyone's going to say, oh, he had a big run for 37 yards. Even if you take that away, he was still, decently efficient. It didn't make a lot of sense the way I don't trust Brandon Staley to use anyone correctly anymore because I don't think he's good at his job. But yeah, I think fuck. This is one of the harder ones for me to pick.
Yeah, Najee has. He had been doing well until last week. He only got 10 carries or something and 4 points. But it was against a really, really good defense, so that could have been part of the issue there. But it seems like Jaylen Warren is just the better running back, so I think Najee might just continue to get less and less work.
Yeah,
so that's a little scary for him, but
Matt Canada got fired today too, so I think you're going to see them just a lot of what I feel like new offensive coordinators when they come in, they're like, we're just going to force the ball to our best player, our best players every game. So I think Najee's not one of their best players, and he's going to lose a lot there.
Agreed.
But we'll see. Also, he's pretty indexed in the Washington offense against Dallas, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, having two pass catchers against Dallas is not a great look, especially with Sam Howell as the quarterback. But
Yeah. Pick this one. Do it first.
I do have the better John's cousin taking the dub in this one, Travis J.
Who am
Jumping him in
I?
the standing.
Who am I gonna? I'm fucking kidding. I'm not a bitch. It's me, the kid. We're getting the dub. Fuck you, Alex. I told my dad that if you beat me this weekend, you're not invited to Christmas. Get wrecked.
Oh, oh, didn't see you there. Just got done with a walk. And you know what I was thinking about? Travis Johns. Yeah, my cousin. The guy who changed his name in Discord to the better John's cousin. I think my man's compensating for something. Like that L he took earlier in the year. Come on, boy. It's AJ forever.
All right. Next up on the card.
We're getting into
We love
the second
drama.
half here, the heavyweights.
Yeah, this is really where the crowd gets crazy. Everyone's drunk at this point.
Yeah.
You're like, holy fuck, it's time. And so, of course, we got to have the matchup that may have the most vitriol behind it. We have the number 4 seed Becca against the number 6 seed Beans. Becca is currently first in scoring. Beans is fourth. Becca is third in median score. Beans is third in median score. Becca's fourth. Becca has had the 5th most points against, and Beans had 10th, so Beans has the 3rd easiest schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And their first matchup in week 10, only 2 weeks ago, Becca beat Beans 115.86 to 102.6. What do you see in this upcoming matchup?
I see some interesting matchups. I mean, Jamar Chase for Becca is kind of a question mark with Joe Burrow out or not. I mean, it could be a situation like Garrett Wilson where now you have the backup quarterback in, and even if you're getting targets, they're not in your vicinity or they're not super valuable. She does have Tank Dell, who I think, not even I just think he just is a friggin' superstar with CJ Stroud. He's been popping off. She has Kenneth Walker in right now, and I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to play, but she does have Kyron on her bench, who should be good to go this week, so can swap those two. I think overall the teams are pretty evenly matched with tough matchups on both sides. Like Beans has DK against San Francisco, but actually San Francisco, where you can get points on them is the wide receiver position, so that could be better than expected. But
yeah, I mean, I think Becca just has better matchups. If we're being like perfectly honest, Tank Dell against Jacksonville and Patrick Mahomes against Las Vegas are two that kind of stayed out to me as like these could be explosive games. Rashad White has been we blamed him literally like every episode for fucking weeks at the beginning of the season. But since week 7, his worst score is 12, and he's put up. He's
he just continues to get like 20 plus opportunities every game.
But he's actually decent in the passing game now, which has really helped. I think he's getting like 5 catches a game.
Mm-hmm.
The things that scare me for Becca, I would say, are Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. I don't understand this Jalen Waddle thing. I feel like he just never he like shows up like he's almost like Calvin Ridley but lower ceiling, where he just like randomly shows up like a couple games and then just vanishes and has like 4 for 55.
Yeah.
Against the Jets, I mean, we kind of saw Buffalo's. Assuming Sauce is guarding Tyreek Hill, I think the Jets are actually kind of vulnerable to number 2. So this could be a pop-off week for him, or it could be a nothing burger. On the other side, I think Beans has some really bad matchups. I mean, San Francisco, they are sometimes vulnerable, and then sometimes they do what they did to the Jags. Devontae Adams against KC. We saw what they did to AJ Brown last night. It does not look good for number one receivers. Trevor Lawrence against Houston. Last time we played them was an absolute fucking shit show.
I'll be interested to see if she switches Dobbs in against Chicago.
Yeah, that could be a better matchup, but I still question Dobbs' ceiling.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert against the Jets. Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh. Saquon Barkley against New England could be okay, but I think Beans has really tough matchups all across the board this week.
Yeah, I think Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh could be decent, just because he's going to get more work now that Burrow's not out. He could get a bunch of dump offs from a backup quarterback, get those PPR points, but she definitely has the tougher matchups on the week. And for both teams, it looks like both teams will probably pick up a defense, because Beans has Washington against Dallas and Becca has Seattle against San Fran.
Yeah, you know,
so they'll probably get different defenses there, but probably not a huge difference.
Yeah, I think your point about the quarterbacks is pretty good, where we could see like these offenses that have been bad trying to make the easy plays. Even in Pittsburgh, maybe Pat Fryermuth has like a little bit of stonks up, although their quarterbacks are so fucking bad that maybe he probably doesn't. But I don't know.
No.
Yeah, pick this one. Pick it.
I'm picking Beans.
Oh, shit.
I'm picking the upset. I know Reeves is going to be like, oh, you always pick Beans, but she's going to win. She should have won the last matchup, but just got unlucky with the quarterback situation, but she's taking her revenge this week.
I think Becca's a pretty heavy favorite here, so I'm going to take Becca. I think we've talked about her as a late riser throughout the season. She has what I would consider to be one of the stronger teams in the league. She had a rough week last week, but I think she has a real chance at winning the championship, and I think she's got this. It starts by going through Beans, unfortunately. All right. We have two more matchups. We're going to bring up one with maybe some sexual tension.
Definitely sexual.
Well, no, I think the first one is the one with definite sexual tension. This one is it may not matter too much for the playoff picture. It could, though.
It could.
Our current 12 seed, Dalton, is playing his former co-manager, the 11th seed B-Way. Last time these guys faced off, it was one of the craziest games we'd seen. Dalton had his best week of the year. It was in week 4, I think. Yeah, week 4. But then the Dallas defense carried B-Way to a win. 115.42 to 111.24. The closest rematch we were having. In the standing, let's see, Dalton is currently 11th in points and B-Way is 12th. B-Way is 11th in median points and Dalton is 12th. Points against, B-Way has faced the 3rd toughest schedule, while Dalton has faced the 8th toughest schedule. And then, their last matchup was crazy. But I think B-Way has a ton of momentum right now.
I agree. I think he could get Justin Jefferson back. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to get activated, because the Vikings have their bye next week. So they might just be like, hey, sit another game, you'll get another week with the bye and come back after the bye. But they did just lose to the Broncos, so they might be feeling a little more pressure to get him in to make the team better, because obviously they're better with Justin Jefferson on the field. But I think that'll be a pretty big swing if he doesn't play, because if he doesn't play, BYU's going to have to start like Jacoby Myers, who's been terrible, Quentin Johnston, who's been terrible, obviously. Rashid Shaheed could have a big play, so you could play him. But it's a lot worse than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's true. On the other side, Aaron Jones, I didn't think he was expected to play.
Yeah, he's not.
For Dalton, I mean, he's doubtful currently. They don't play till Sunday, so maybe it gets better. And Dalton really, I mean, he has Khalil Herbert, who got a ton of work in his first week back and was absolutely fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
He looked completely washed. And the Minnesota defense is probably a better matchup, but not by much for running backs. So I don't think Khalil Herbert's the savior here. Dalton does have some good matchups, though. Dak Prescott against Washington, Stephon Diggs against Philly. Both seem decent. And potentially Chuba Hubbard against Tennessee.
Chuba has been, I guess he was named the starter, but it seems like they're working Miles Sanders back in. Last week, Miles Sanders had more carries than Chuba did, and they pretty much split 50-50 on snaps. So it could be going back to Miles Sanders being the lead back. It could just be a complete split, but either way, that's not good for Chuba.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, B-Way, his two new running backs are just Devin Singletary's looked like a fucking man renewed, like a soul possessed this year. Like the last couple games, they stopped using Dameon Pierce. He's injured still. It's Devin Singletary's team. They realized they can run the ball really effectively and win games through Devin Singletary. And it looks really awesome. Jacksonville hasn't been like crazy good against running backs. They haven't been terrible. But I think this could be a huge game for Singletary. And Devonta Smith got a lot of targets last night, or at least he did the first half. I didn't actually watch the second half.
So yeah, he did
the chips. Yeah. So I guess we'll see where that goes. And then with Justin Jefferson coming back, I feel like he's got to come back this week, right?
I would think so too. But the only thing that scares me is the bye is the next week. So they might just be like, hey, sit out another 2 weeks just to make for sure. But it's like, no.
Yeah.
And on Devin Singletary, I think I heard that Dameon Pierce might be back this week, and Singletary will probably still be the lead back, but I would assume they would work Dameon Pierce in, so it wouldn't be just Devin Singletary like it has been the last couple weeks.
I don't see how you can even play Dameon Pierce at this point, though. Like, Dameon Pierce has been shit all year. He goes out, and Singletary's good. How do you, if you're – and D'Amico Ryan seems like a good coach. How do you, how can you possibly go to your team and be like, we think the best move is to play the guy who's fucking inted every fucking game he played and then got hurt?
I was listening to a podcast, and they said there was a report that the offensive coordinator of the Texans said that once Dameon Pierce is back healthy, it's going back to how it was before he got hurt.
Fire him.
Where it was like 60 or 70% Dameon Pierce.
Fire him. Just fucking can him. That is, I mean, that's like lunacy. Hello. Oh my god. Pick the game.
I was watching the game last night with B-Way and some other people, and at first I thought I wanted Steele to win. And then I was talking to B-Way, and I just slowly crept more onto his side. And the comeback story of B-Way
swayed you, some would say.
He swayed me. By the second half of the game, I was screaming for Devontae Smith targets. He got that 40-yard bomb catch to seal the dub. We're going B-Way on a win streak. Fuck Dalton, he's getting last place.
Listen, we've had if you're plugged into the chatter, all you've heard all season is that B-Way was mistreated as a co-manager last year. He was slighted. He was doubted by his manager, Dalton. Dalton controlled everything.
Disregarded.
No say, disrespected. And B-Way is coming back with a vengeance. There's no way B-Way is losing a game to his mortal enemy. I'm picking B-Way.
Let's go.
Fucking go, B-Way. All right. Our final card.
Time for the main event.
The main event. the big kahuna, the orgy to end all orgies. It's our number 1 seed, Spencer, who barely eked out a win against Biz last night. It was fucking crazy. Versus a team that many see as the favorite to win the Super Bowl, ahead of number 1 seed Spencer. It's Reeves, Culleton. These two, there is little just sexual tension everywhere. That's why I called it an orgy.
The crack.
Reeves is number 3 in scoring this year. Spencer is number 8.
Ugh, blood armor.
Reeves actually takes a huge hit with median score and goes down to 6th.
Damn, what the fuck?
Spencer goes down to 9th, so that doesn't help much.
Blood armor.
Points against, Reeves has had the 7th hardest schedule, and Spencer has had the 2nd easiest schedule. And their last matchup in week 5, Reeves toppled Spencer 109.82 to 87.18. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This could decide the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
Who or what do you think is the key to this big ball?
I think the key, it's got to be Matt Stafford and Justin Herbert, the quarterback matchup. Matt Stafford going against Arizona is a much better matchup. But Justin Herbert going against Baltimore, that's a tough matchup. I think Justin Herbert he's obviously the better quarterback. He's got no help around him. Drops everywhere. Quentin Johnson, bust. Terrible team, terrible coach. But I think he'll be a big reason Reeves pulls out the dub this week.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's interesting because he's been really good, and he's faced a lot of tough matchups. He's faced Dallas. He scored 23. Pretty good. Faced Kansas City. He scored 13. Not so good. He faced the Jets. Scored 7. Not great, Bob. He scored Green Bay, who's actually like one of the best teams against quarterbacks in the league. Scored almost 30 points. So it's going to be like, does Jekyll or Hyde show up this week for Justin Herbert? Does he pop off, or does he just like hide back in a shell and get absolutely fucking wrecked?
There's also an interesting dynamic in this matchup because Spencer has Matt Stafford, Reeves has Puka. And it's looking like Cooper Kupp might be out. So Puka would go back to being hyper-targeted most likely. But then also, Reeves has Herbert. Spencer has Keenan Allen. So it's kind of like they're crossing streams. They're playing sword fights right now, and I'm not sure what to think about.
They also have 2 running backs in a cross matchup, which doesn't sound that important, but it's like which running back is going to be fucking hammered into the ground when they get ahead. Supposedly, Atlanta's going back to Desmond Ridder this week, and we still don't know if Derek Carr is injured. So the quarterbacks are completely in question in that game. And I think whichever team gets ahead and starts force-feeding their running back, which maybe it's fucking Tyler Algier that gets the force feed, even if the Atlanta gets ahead, but who knows? Or dumbass Arthur Smith. But I think that's going to be a huge matchup. I think the key, though, is the superstar wide receivers. Cooper Kupp versus CeeDee Lamb. Cooper Kupp may not play, as you said. Keenan Allen's also a superstar, by the way. I mean, Spencer has 2 of the best receivers in the fucking league.
True.
Cooper Kupp may not play and has been mixed since he came back because of quarterback play. On the other hand, CeeDee Lamb has been superhuman until this week. This past week he wasn't great. He had 9 targets still, so like things are still looking up. But I think CeeDee Lamb could go off against a very mediocre Washington defense, while both of Spencer's superstar wide receivers could be hurt. I guess words.
One thing that was interesting last week for the Browns with Dorian Thompson-Robinson in there, David Njoku, Spencer's tight end, got 15 targets. Granted, the 15 targets went for like 30-something yards.
Hey,
but still.
56, bucko.
Okay, my bad. But I mean, that's a lot of fucking targets. So against a much worse defense in Denver compared to the Pittsburgh, he could get a touchdown if they are able to move the ball. He could just get a lot of PPR points, so that could be a point of tension there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was I had money on that game, and so I watched a lot of it. Don't
I'm sorry
ever
for your
subject
loss.
yourself to watch Kenny Pickett. It is
I'm so sorry.
like he is like I think he's almost like Zach Wilson bad. It's terrible.
Put Mitch Trubisky in the
He was
MVP.
also shit, but you're right. And
Give me Mason
David
Rudolph.
Njoku is just like every read is one. It's one cut and go.
Sure.
And so it's like tight end is perfect. It's literally that's the whole offense. It's going to be Njoku and Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt the whole day.
Yeah, I mean Reeves he's got his first game with his newly acquired flex player Jonathan Taylor. It's against a really tough run defense in Tampa, so it might not be as good as he wants it to be, but it could also be a game changer there. And then he's got Houston against the Jags. He might pick up somebody else, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is going to be such a fun matchup.
Agreed.
There's so much history here. The history is very rich. I am going to pick Reeves to topple Spencer this week in a heater if Cooper Kupp plays. If he doesn't play, it's kind of rough. I'm going to pick Reeves either way, though.
Yeah, beginning of the season and a lot of last season and throughout this season, I've been pretty down on Reeves overall. And the last few weeks, I mean pretty much this whole season, he's made a lot of good moves. Picking up Puka, trading for Jonathan Taylor, trading for CeeDee Lamb, trading for James Conner. He's made a lot of good moves. And I think that you are correct in saying that he is the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, and I'm picking him to take down Spencer.
Oh, man. What a heater.
I got some jokes for Spencer's team this week. Spencer drafted 6 running backs in the first 9 rounds. Then he traded away or cut the ones he didn't like. And now he's only got a team of running backs that absolutely suck. It's ironic that his team's called El Gato because his players are absolute dog shit. What do Tony Pollard and a kamikaze pilot have in common? Neither one touches down. Spencer's team is so bad that Lee Corso put on the El Gato headgear this week and marked their loss. You know, when Spencer's mom famously told him that Federal Express was there, Spencer had just ordered the Fantasy Football Guide for Dummies. However, they sent the wrong book, and instead he got Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and has been using that as a fantasy guide ever since.
Slow down. So very confused. Just throwing
And normally this is where we end the episode. But guess what? It's Rivalry Week. We got extra content. We got spice. Along with all the little vignettes we're going to sprinkle in there with that salt meme. Was like, yeah. We've also got playoff seeding predictions. Playoffs? We have forecasted the whole season. Obviously, I highly doubt we'll both be right. Especially
no, we've never been wrong.
Wait, did we pick any different matchups this week? Oh, you picked Beans and I picked Becca. Okay, I think that's the only one we actually picked differently, which is really interesting. But yeah,
we had mine and Brett's different, but you did the switch up.
I changed it because you sold me. You were like,
No.
If you lose, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay.
Same.
Okay. So we have playoff predictions. Who is your number 1 seed?
Well,
I guess let's take us through all of yours. Fuck it. That's so much.
Oh, we're gonna go through all of mine. All right. So going from the same vein of what we were just talking about in that matchup, Reeves is my number one seed. I do think he is the favorite to win this year. He's got a super strong squad, barring any injuries to his stars. I think he is the favorite. And then, in the second seed with the same record, but Reeves has the tiebreaker due to this matchup coming up in Rivalry Week. I got Spencer.
Oh,
he has had the plot armor with very low points against and very low points for, but he plays me next week, and I've got a lot of bye weeks, so I think he'll get the dub there. So that puts him at 9 wins since he's already at 7. So I've got him at the second seed. And then third seed, third, fourth, and fifth are all tied at 8 and 6.
Wait. What record does Spencer have?
9 and 5.
Oh, okay. You said the same record as Reeves, and I got very confused.
Yeah, they're both 9 and 5.
Oh, okay.
Because I have Reeves beating Dalton in week 13, but then losing to Beans in week 14.
Ah.
So then 3, 4, 5, all 8 and 6. Due to tiebreakers, I got Becca at number 3. As we talked about earlier, she's been a late season riser, super strong squad. Hopefully K9 isn't out too long because that might put a damper on her chances. But overall, I think she's got a good team, and I do have her beating me in the last week, which is a tough look, but it happens.
It do.
Fourth seed, I got Bangy, 8 and 6. Solid squad. Questionable running backs. I don't know if he's really in contention to win it all, but if he gets on a heater, he could, like Biz did last year, so you never know. Fifth seed, the last 8 and 6 team, I do have Steel taking the 5th seed. Steel beating Biz this week, beating Beans next week because she's got a lot of bye weeks, and then beating you in the last week, going 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. Breaking his 4-game lose streak that he's on right now.
He's on a 4-game lose streak? Really?
Yep.
God, it doesn't feel that bad.
I know. And then to round out the playoff picture, 2 7-7 teams, I've got you at the 7th seed, losing to Steel in the last week and losing to Brett in week 13, but beating Banglewood this week. So you squeak in at 7-7, and then Beans grabs that final seed, the 8th seed, with wins against Becca in week 12 and Reeves in week 14.
Wait, isn't that only 7?
Yeah, 7-7.
No, there's not only 7 teams.
Is it?
You said Brett,
1,
Spencer,
2,
Becca,
3, 4,
Banglewood,
5,
Steele,
6,
Travis,
7.
Beans. It's only 7.
Wait a minute.
Did you have Brett? Did you have you? Did you have B-Way? Did you have Dalton? Did you have Biz?
Oh, I don't have
Beans?
Brett on here. I didn't. Wait. Pause.
Holy fucking shit.
One
Oh
second.
my God. We spent like 20 goddamn minutes waiting for Alec to do this prep. He got on and he's like, I didn't do anything. I was like, motherfucker, listen here. If we do this segment with no prep, it's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible.
I fixed it.
And so they prepped. And then this shit happens. Thanks, Bob.
All right. I fixed it. So you were 6th seed, Beans was 7th seed. I accidentally cut and pasted over Brett. So he's the 8th seed
Okay.
at 7-7 as well.
Gotcha.
And then I've got Dalton in last at 4-10, Biz, B-Way, and myself.
Okay.
Barely missing the playoffs. Big Sage.
So our first 6 seeds are identical.
Hog.
My records were a little different. I had Reeves at 10-4, Spencer, Becca, and Banglewood at 9-5, Steele at 8-6, and then me at 7-7 to be the 1 through 6 seeds. That's actually fucking insane.
That is crazy.
However, I had tied at 7-7. I had Brett, and then I had 2 teams tied at 6-8 for the 8th seed, and I do have you with the tiebreaker over B-Way at 6-8. I think BUA almost fucking makes the playoffs.
That would be
Right
crazy.
there. And then I have Biz and Beans both at 5-9, and Dalton at 3-11.
It's gonna be spicy.
I definitely expected us to have more different records.
So did I. What the fuck?
That did not actually work as well as a segment. But you know what? It saved you guys time. Instead of me reading us all, we both have Reeves, Spencer, Becca, Banglewood, Steele, me, and then you have Beans, and then Brett. I have Brett, and then Wyatt. There you go. When fucking Biz goes 3-0 and makes us look silly, flame us.
You
I
can
don't
call
give
us
a fuck. Yeah. But that is gonna do it for our Rivalry Week episode. It was a fucking blast. I've been staring at my sunglasses because I can see two screens, like right here, and so I've been watching the screens the whole time. I don't know what to do with my hands. Also, I'm gonna just throw in these little things I'm getting from people for fun. Although at this point,
shit.
everyone's already seen them, so I guess this whole thing is pointless. I'm like in a void. Say something, please.
Huh?
Say something.
Venus.
Okay. Let's get the fuck out of here. Thank you for tuning in to ESPN The 8th, the Ocho. We just lost half our sponsors. Ow, you just raped my ears. We will see you guys, I don't know when, soon. Bye.